Welcome to our weekly, well, no, not bi-weekly, or our timely block chat. We should say that. I want to give a shout out to the Buffalo and Erie County Board of Block Clubs, who joins us as our co-host and our sponsor and our partner, who we put out our block chat out. We've been doing this for almost about a year and a half, maybe going on two. Started when the pandemic hit, not only Buffalo, but across the nation. We wanted to make sure we were communicating in a two-way response, not just us in terms of City Hall, citizen services to residents, but residents in a community and block clubs communicating with each other. Throughout our block chats, we've had lively guests, we've had timely guests, we've had important folks come on and talk about important topics, and we've also been able to share information within city government and out in the community to people. Today is no different. I'm excited. Um, this week is Black Maternal Health Week, and we have a speaker who, will be speaking and giving us more information as we understand the health of a community. Of course, it's technical assistance. I'm sorry. The health of a community, technical issues. The health of a community is important. And everyone has a role to play in that in whatever specific groups that we have. And so today our speaker is going to be speaking about a particular topic that is key to women, more specifically women of color, but all over that we're going to be speaking about. But this week, coming up, right now, city governments, department heads are working on the city budget and working back and forth with our commissioner of finance and budget and working with the mayor's office. Mayor will be presenting his overall budget to the common council. Common council will then follow up. May 1st is the mayor's state of the city, and we're excited about that. Well, he'll set his vision for the next year in terms of making, talking about some things that we have been able to do, but also our vision for next year. So very, very excited about moving forward from there. So I'm going to pass this off to Nicole, who's going to give us some updates, some very timely updates of what's happening in the community, not only from the Division of Citizen Services, but a lot of different things that we can kind of take advantage of too. Shout out to Mike Smith. We're starting our clean sweep season. We had a great kickoff with our partners. They're very, very excited. So stay tuned. We'll be in your neighborhood soon or around it, but as you know, we look at data to help us pinpoint those particular areas when we do our clean sweeps. Nicole?
All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to share my screen for a few quick announcements. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Right. Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Okay, so as always, I'm just reminding everybody about the Mayor's Talk of the Town with Mayor Brown, Sundays at 1 p.m. Obviously, this is posted on his Facebook. If you do need to see it there, you can also go to WUFO or catch it on Power 96.5. This is our revised bulk trash schedule. So this week we're in Fillmore, April 14th, and then you can see the other districts there. And this is listed online as well. And it ends June 30th. Please put out your bulk trash on the Sunday listed. These are just some more waste drop-off locations. So electronic waste, recycling only, where your refuse disposal is, and your yard waste drop-off only. These will be on our website if you do need them again, just so that people know where to send different things. And then no material other than what is listed will be accepted at these locations. So Beautiful starts in Buffalo. So this is our Great American Cleanup. You can schedule your own event between now and June 22nd, request free cleanup supplies or volunteer to cleanup event. You can scan this QR code, call 311, or visit the link on screen. And if you do need more information, please reach out to our AmeriCorps Vista, Samaria Millie, at this email address listed here. If you are looking to start a block club, you can contact the City of Buffalo and Erie County Board of Block Clubs at their email. They have a phone, a Facebook, and an Instagram, and they are responsive on all platforms. So just reach out if that is something in your wheelhouse, or if you just need some help with your block club as well. There is a Board of Block Clubs April General Meeting coming up on April 25th at 6 p.m. at the Tosh Collins Community Center. And they're featuring Tim Chen, Executive Director of James Robertson Community Outreach. And if you want more information about this meeting, you can email the BOBC buffalo@gmail.com. There is a spring plant sale benefiting Feedmore of Western New York, running through April 30th. And so Feedmore is donating or using the proceeds to help battle food insecurity. So just wanted to put this on everyone's radar. So if they are looking to support and help end food insecurity, this is a perfect way to do so. The Spring Career Fair at the Buffalo Convention Center, downtown Buffalo, hosted by the Buffalo Urban League on Franklin Street, Thursday, April 25th. And you can find out more information about this at the number listed below or on their website, and you can register utilizing the QR code on screen. And there is a free DigiSkills computer help being offered at the Delvin Grider Community Center through Literacy Buffalo Niagara. You can find out more information online. And they do have an email as well, info@literacybuffalo.org. They're going to talk about computer basics and career and job search skills. The Maston Small Business Info Session will be happening Wednesday, April 24th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Northland Workforce Training Center. There are a few different organizations attending. And so this is an opportunity to network with fellow business owners and learn from industry experts. And there are refreshments provided as well. So this is for both seasoned entrepreneurs or those just starting out. So if you didn't sign up for Buffalo Alert, we encourage you to sign up. It is an easy to use emergency alert system that's going to give out notifications, and all you have to do is text your zip code to 38276. And lastly, just remind you guys to follow social media, our Facebook page, our 311 call and response center, Love Your Block, and Mayor Byron Brown at Facebook, on Facebook at mayorbyronbrown.com. And so I'm going to stop there, turn it back over to Director Mestre.
Nicole, thank you for all of those updated information. A lot of great things that are happening in the city of Buffalo. It's springtime. People are getting out. People want to know more about bulk trash and a whole bunch of other different things, and just be connected. And so it is great to see a lot of the things, even with what the Board of Block Clubs is doing in terms of just guest speakers too. Listen, we have our own guest speaker here today. Excited. Had a chance to chat with her a little earlier today. Not earlier. And it's Black Maternal Health Week. The mayor earlier celebrated that, had some speakers in City Hall, in the mayor's office, just highlighting the need. Personally, I've talked with him, and in terms of information, and data, that as a city, as a country, we just need to work on. But, we're here to talk about what it is and everything all about doula, right? And we have Alexcia Harrod. I'm sorry if I missaid your last name, but Alexcia, who will speak on that, and also this timely topic here in City of Buffalo, but also nationally. Great to have you. Thank you very much. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to learn. And I think, when we talk about Black Maternal Health Week, or when we're talking about women, this is a conversation that should be for everyone, and we should understand a lot more and about this particular topic. So thank you, Alexcia.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I am so very happy to be here to talk about Black Maternal Health Week and Black maternal health sort of as a whole. So I'm here just to give you an overview, of what it is, how it affects our community. And I wanted to sort of start with a little bit of a story before we jump right in. But here, I'm going to share my screen so I don't have to fumble with it later. But is everybody can see this okay? Okay, I see some dots. Great. So hi everybody, my name is Alexcia Harrod, and I am a certified doula. It's Black Maternal Health Week, and I'm super excited about that. Again, I said I was going to start with a story. So I have 3 kids. Shout out to my husband Paul, who is here as well. And I have 3 kids. My oldest is 9, my middle is 6, and the baby is 3. When I was pregnant with my middle baby, we'll call her Bean, it was a typical pregnancy. I went and got prenatal care. Made sure I went to all of my appointments. It was a pretty, uneventful pregnancy for me. I was a little nervous about it because I had 2 miscarriages prior to this pregnancy. So, I was a little nervous, but my husband was great. He was very supportive during that time. So, again, shout out to him. But when it came down to my labor, it was pretty, um, it was interesting to say the least. I went in, I started to feel, um, you know, you have Braxton Hicks. I thought I was having Braxton Hicks, but it ended up being that I was actually in labor. I ended up going to the ER um, twice in 2 days. So once on a Thursday, and then again the following day on that Friday. When I first went to the ER, I'm just thinking, this is just really painful. Am I in labor? I'm not really sure. I didn't get to experience all of these things that I'm experiencing with my second pregnancy that I did with my first because I had a C-section. So I go to the doctor, I go to the ER, they tell me that, oh, you're just dehydrated. Drink a bunch of water, you should feel better. All right, okay, cool. So I go home and I'm a good patient and I'm like drinking water, like my life depended on it. So then I go to work the next day, and I'm still feeling pretty crappy. I end up going home. I'm at home. I'm trying to just do things that make me feel better. I'm not a McDonald's girl, but I had the best hamburger and unsweetened iced tea of my life. When I got home, I went and picked up my oldest son. And then, just things started, as the day went on, my day just kept getting more and more uncomfortable, right? So I ended up going down to my mom's house and I'm just getting really, really uncomfortable. Um, and I ended up calling my husband because he had something to do. And I said, hey, it's time to go. We got to go. Come get me. So he comes and he gets me. We go back out to the hospital. I go right to the ER. And they sort of hold me there for a bit. And they go, you know what? You're not in labor. You're only 2 centimeters dilated. You just need to go home. And I'm asking, like, listen, last time this happened, I happened to be in this exact same room for hours. Can you keep me for a little bit? My husband was advocating for me as well. And I'm like, you know, we're all adults here. Like, I know my body is getting ready for labor. I've already had several bowel movements. I've thrown up. I have nothing left inside me. My body is getting ready. So we do that. We get there. We're saying all these things, and they said no. They give me a Benadryl. They say you need to go home, just relax. And they told me to have a glass of wine. Now, I am no nurse. I am a social worker by trade, and I'm like, I don't think you should be mixing those things together. But okay. So my husband gets me home, and uh, just things they're still progressing. Nothing's letting up. And finally, my water breaks at home. We call the ambulance. So shout out to Buffalo Fire Department and the EMTs that showed up at my house to come take me back to the hospital. We get in there now. Again, I didn't experience full on labor that I'm experiencing now with my daughter that I did with my son. So I'm in the back of the ambulance. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and everything is just moving along as it should be. So, and the EMT I found out later that it was I think it was her first or second day on the job. So I'm pretty sure she has stories about me for the rest of her life because I had no idea what I was doing, what was happening. So lo and behold, I'm in labor now, and I'm saying, hey, listen, you know, I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta poop. So she checks me, of course, and she goes, nothing's happening. And then, of course, again, I'm like, listen, lady, I don't remember her name because I called her lady the whole time. Lady, I have to go to the bathroom. What is going on? So then I check, and my daughter her head is coming out. and I'm in the hospital. The ambulance driver, he said, "Don't push. We're almost there." I give him a few choice words. And then we get to the parking lot. They're wheeling me out. Boom. My daughter is born in the parking lot of the hospital as we were trying to make it into the emergency room. And she was so cute, and she came out like this, and I was like, "What?" It was a crazy, crazy experience. And if any of you have ever met my daughter, you know, like how she came in this world is how exactly she is. She is the life of the party. She's lovely. So shout out to her. Um, and so we get there, and I distinctly remember being rolled up to labor and delivery, and just to have the doctor, the provider, say, "Oh my gosh, that's not how things were supposed to happen." And I go, "Duh, you should have kept me. From the time you let me go, from the time I had my daughter, was what, an hour 45 minutes. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a short amount of time. And then, you know, with labor, lots of things move and stretch and tear. So I unfortunately I tore while I was giving birth to my daughter, and the doctor proceeded to just attempt to try to fix it. And I said, absolutely not. Like, are you going to numb me? Are you going to, you know, spray, do something? And she says, well, you did the hard part, but you know, I just was flabbergasted as to why you would think that it would be okay to proceed to stick a needle through someone without giving them any type of pain medication. And I, you know, we argued about it. She finally gave me something. Paul said something to her, and finally she agreed to give me some type of pain medication, which I was thankful for. But, you know, I say all this, this happened in 2017. This has been happening for years. Even after going through this experience, I found out my own mother had to deal with something similar to me, and I'll be 40 this year. So things have been happening like this for years. People don't listen to Black and brown moms, or they tell them that they're in pain. I mean, it's actually taught in med school that Black people can tolerate pain better than their white counterparts. Not true. So I'm thankful that we have, I have a platform like this to talk about Black Maternal Health Week. I have a platform like this to share stories like this. You know, even though we sort of, my husband and I, we sort of giggle about it now. It could have been much worse for me. It could have been much worse for me and my daughter. My daughter may not have known who I am. I might not have gotten to know her. My husband might not have had a wife. My kids wouldn't have a mother. So I'm happy to be able to talk about this, and it's sort of catapulted me into becoming a doula. So let's jump into the presentation here. We already introduced myself, so hey, I'm Alexcia. Um, and I wanted to sort of jump right into postpartum depression right after that story, just because Black and brown women tend to not be treated for depression. It affects 1 in 8 women across the country, and the risk for Black and brown women are 1.6 times higher than that. It's a lot of reasons for that. Some of the tools that, I'm sort of jumping around here, but some of the tools that we use to um, identify postpartum depression did not include Black and brown women in the sample. So the tools that we have out there don't really ask the right questions to really get to the bottom of postpartum depression or identify postpartum depression in Black and brown women, right? And because of that, it could lead to women not being treated. There's also a stigma of the Black community of not asking for help, right? You think, hey, if I ask for help, you know, I'm more likely to have them call CPS on me. They're going to take my kids away, or I'm not strong enough to deal with this. So there's a lot of stigma around asking for help in postpartum depression as well. What was a interesting fact for me going through all of this is that postpartum depression can affect men as well. Yes, they don't go through the process of you know, going through labor and all the changes and things like that. But if your partner, so if, you know, if I were to have postpartum depression, my husband is 50% more likely to have it as well. They, it's hard to sort of pinpoint that, but is also something that can affect our Black community as well. So those are just some facts about postpartum depression and maternal mental health. There are signs to look for uh, postpartum depression. And I have to say, you know, my husband, though at the time was super annoying about it. Anytime I felt bad or sad, he would bring out this little green, or I think it was green or blue pamphlet, and he goes, "Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling guilty? Are you tired? Are you having mood swings?" But some of those things can be some signs and symptoms of postpartum depression, and these also can go. We could also cover that with men as well. So feeling guilty, any lack of interest in yourself or the baby, being restless or moody, having thoughts of hurting yourself or the baby. And again, this, if you're having any type of thoughts like this, if your partner is having any types of thoughts like this, make sure that you seek help immediately. It could be a sign of, I think it's postpartum psychosis. So I did include the number for crisis services here at the bottom. It's 716-834-3131. Sleeping too much or not getting enough sleep, exhaustion. If you have had a baby or been around baby, those midnight feedings and those 2:30 feedings can wreak havoc on you. So try to get as much sleep as you can. You know, my mom said it to me all the time, you sleep when the baby sleeps, but I didn't listen. So I was up doing all kinds of things. But if you can get sleep while the baby is sleeping, please do that. You can't pour out from an empty vessel, so try to pour into yourself as well. Again, mood swings, any type of anxiety, social isolation, and changes in appetite. You're also more likely to have postpartum depression if you have a history or diagnosis of depression prior to pregnancy. With all of the hormonal changes that come with pregnancy, you're more likely to do that. So make sure if you do have a diagnosis of depression or anxiety prior to you getting pregnant, please make sure you talk to your provider, your OB or your PCP, and let them know, hey, listen, well, they should know, but if you happen to know a new OB, to say, hey, listen, I have depression, I have anxiety, you know, just so they can be on alert for any signs and symptoms of postpartum after the baby is born. Okay. It is important to get prenatal and postpartum care. A lot of the deaths that happen within the Black community, Black maternal deaths, can be prevented. Okay. And they could be prevented by just getting simple prenatal and postpartum care. Okay. So if you know that you are pregnant, try to get in to see your OB as soon as possible. Okay. Make sure you go to all of your appointments. And of course, look for a doula. There are amazing, amazing doulas here in Buffalo, and I'm sure across the country. But there are some amazing doulas here, right here in Western New York. And right now, doula services are covered through Medicaid. And then you can go to New York State, and I just thought about it. There's a website. If I can find it before we get off, I'll make sure I'll put it in the chat, where you can look for doulas here in Erie County. But make sure you get a doula. I wish I would have had the opportunity to have a doula. And I'm going to give a shout out to the doula that I called at the end of this presentation. But make sure you get a doula. They don't deliver babies, but they're there to support you and your family. They support you during your pregnancy, during your labor, and after. There's a wide range of them, but most doulas do provide support during your labor and delivery and shortly thereafter. There are some that provide more, there's some that provide less, but make sure when you look for your doula, give them a call, have a meeting. Not everybody is for everybody, but if you meet them, you can tell, you know, that's like me looking at Nicole, go, hey, Nicole, I want you to be my doula, and having that meeting and feeling comfortable, because when things are happening, when you're in labor, your doula is going to be your voice, because you're not even thinking about half of the stuff. I can tell you for my third pregnancy, while I was in labor, I was like, yes, I'm going to do it natural and da da da. And did not. I got a good epidural and felt much better. But whatever your choice is, making sure that you have a doula to amplify your voice, even if you can't, is a good choice to make if you can do that. And I said that before, a lot of the Black maternal deaths in the country can be prevented if you get the right and proper care. Make sure you get connected with community groups. Get you a mommy group. I always say, get you some people that know you, that will be able to help and advocate for you as well. There's a lot of resources that are out here in the community, but again, I'll talk about that later in the presentation there. Oh, right now. So here are a couple of resources that you can tap into here in Western New York. If you're struggling after you have a baby, you can reach out to Western New York Postpartum Connection. I did include their website here. They can get you connected to some counselors, or a support group. They do have a list of support groups that they do have on their website. If you have any trouble getting diapers, please reach out to Roz at Every Bottom Covered. You can find them at 877 East Delavan Avenue, Buffalo 14215. Shout out to 14215, best zip code in town. Or you can reach them at 716-896-7021. Hold on. Is that better?
No, it's okay though.
Okay, I'll just read it.
We see your screen, but that's all.
It says I'm still sharing.
You are sharing, it's just not moving through your presentation, but it's fine.
Okay, I'll just keep reading then. Okay, if you're looking for a doula, please reach out to Calming Nature Doula Service and Center. They are amazing. I did reach out to Shannon when I wanted a doula, but she's lovely. They have a whole group of amazing doulas that will be there for you. Their address is 223 Grant Street. That's Buffalo 14213. Their phone number is 716-678-4785. You can also reach out to Erie Niagara AHAC. They have a birth equity project. They have a wonderful program there. They help you get connected with additional services throughout the county, and they can get you connected with a doula as well. So their number is 716-835-9358. Their extension is 102, and there's an email address if you're interested. You will reach out to Madeline. It's MACHKLEY at en-ahec.org. And they are wonderful as well. So they can get you connected with other resources as well. So that concludes my presentation for now. Do you have any questions? I saw some in the chat.
So I actually had some questions that were sent to me
Sure.
via like Facebook when I posted this, but one of the questions came from somebody, and she was just asking if you have a doula and your doula is saying one thing, but your doctor is giving you different advice, you want to follow what the doula is doing. How do you navigate this? I guess, but differences between what the doula says and what the doctor says.
Mm-hmm. So a doula is not a clinical, they're not a clinician, so they can't give you medical advice. Their main role is to provide you with support. So that's sort of a tricky question, just because I don't know exactly what that person is, like what the doula is saying versus what the doctor is saying. So if
So
if
they're
the
there.
doula is, go ahead.
So I know this person's story was explained to me, and I guess for her, if they're there to amplify your voice, right, and she wants a natural birth, and the doctor is telling her she wants her to get a C-section, what role can the doula play there? Do you have to kind of say, like, well, from a medical perspective, I'm going to encourage my client to go this way, or do you still say this is what the mom wants and I'm here strictly to advocate for her voice?
So I don't know what the medical circumstances are in that case, but if the doctor is recommending a C-section for medical purposes, then you should probably listen to your doctor. But the doula can say, "Hey, can you explain why you're recommending a C-section? My client would like a natural birth or a vaginal birth. Can you explain it to her as what your reasoning is?" So if I was a doula, I would have asked that question versus, "No, my client wants a vaginal birth. She doesn't want that." The doula can't give medical advice. She can only say, "Hey, listen, this is what she will want." If she's still asking for, that vaginal birth, and hey, let's talk about this. Is it a medical reason that she needs it? Is the baby in distress? Is her life at risk? That sort of thing. I know for me, I needed to have a C-section because, my baby was in distress. There was something going on with his heart. So they needed to get baby out as soon as possible. I did ask if I had the option to say no. You do have the option to say no. But, you should really take a listen to all of the facts, especially when your health and the baby health is at risk.
Okay. And then another question that was sent over was, can a doula attend every appointment with you to help you advocate for yourself, or does the doula have separate appointments, or do they only come to the birth?
So yes, a doula can come to your appointments. I would just check with your medical provider as well, just to let them know, hey, I have a doula. I want my doula to come with me. There are some doulas that only come to births, but again, you have to touch base with whoever you want to be your doula to see what services they provide.
Okay. And then somebody did ask, and they also asked here, is there a difference between the midwife and a doula? Can you have both? Okay.
Yes, there is a difference between a midwife and a doula. Midwife is a nurse, medically trained clinician, and they usually work hand in hand. I have had wonderful experiences working with a doula. Her name is Tiffany, so shout out to her. But they do work hand in hand. You can have both. I did have a midwife for one of my pregnancies. And she was lovely. I told her she had to take me out to dinner because she knew me quite well after the baby. So yes, you can have both.
Okay. And then if you choose to do a natural birth, unassisted at home, can you choose to just have your doula at your unassisted natural birth?
Again, that depends on your doula. Some
Okay.
doulas do home births and some do not.
Okay. How long does doula training usually take?
Doula training could take up to a year. You do have to go through courses, and then you do have to do some hands-on training. So it really just depends on that. So sometimes it could take 6 weeks, sometimes it could take a year. I know I took the longer route to do that just because I wanted to make sure that I did my due diligence. So you have to do get some hands-on training as well. You have to attend, I believe, 3 births before you become certified.
Okay. So you
Mhm.
can practice, just curious, before you're a certified doula, or does every doula have to become a certified doula?
Um, yes and no. There's some um, controversy with that, but you can. It sort of depends. If you've been, it's sort of now becoming sort of mainstream, and there's been people that have been doing it for years prior to this aspect of the world. But what was the last part of that question?
It was, can you practice before you're a certified doula, or does everybody actually have to become a certified doula to be able to deliver?
If you want to bill Medicaid, you have to become certified, yes. But as you're becoming certified, you should be shadowing another doula to get that experience and learn. It's just like is it like residency with a doctor?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, Oz? You're muted, Oz.
You're asking all the questions. Hold on. Hey, let me. I know there may be some other folks who got some questions.
Well, yeah, I'm
Um,
reading ones that were sent over, but go ahead.
no, this is interesting. And let me say this: shout out to your husband. Big shout out to men who are supportive. When you're talking about not this, obviously going this men, what role? Can you speak a little bit about the supportive role or the advocacy role or whatever? And I was just interested when you talk about postpartum, or you're talking about depression, and the role that your mate can play,
Mhm.
or not play, right? In pregnancy.
I think your partner's role, whether it's a boyfriend or a partner, spouse, really plays an important role. I don't think I would have made it as long, and at least for me, my breastfeeding journey with my kids, if it wasn't for my husband. Um, we don't become pregnant alone. There's a partnership involved in that, right? So being able to have your partner involved is super important. Bring them to the appointments if they're able to. Have them ask questions too, because I mean, when you're pregnant, everybody's so focused on the mom, right? They're asking how's mom doing? How are you feeling? How's the baby? And I think we don't do a good job as a society looking at how this affects the male counterpart as well, right? Um, and Paul, you can chime in the chat if you want to, if I miss anything, but I think making sure we're including them as well, especially when it comes to loss. I did share that I had two miscarriages in between my first and second child, and I will be completely transparent here. I didn't do a good job as a wife asking him how he felt. I just thought, it was just me. I had to go through all of this. I was carrying the baby. I lost the baby. A lot of guilt I felt on myself. And he also felt guilty too, because he didn't get a chance to, bond with the baby. We didn't, I mean, I was able to bond because obviously I was carrying the baby, but I didn't get the chance to um I think it fully experienced what that felt like to be a mom for the second time when we were pregnant, um, the second and third time. But really incorporating that your partner's feelings into it, making sure that we're including them, even at the doctor's office. Like it's so annoying to me where they go, "Oh, is the father involved?" Yes, my husband is involved. Like, but again, it's a whole, I can get on that soapbox and talk about it all day because I don't think other races get asked the same questions that we do. It's automatically assumed that because I'm a black female that I got a baby daddy somewhere and that he's not involved. No, my husband is involved. Um, you know, Especially during COVID, he wasn't allowed to come to some of the appointments, so it was a little frustrating for me, um, not having him by me, but also having to deal with, well, where's the father? Is he involved? Yes, my husband is involved. He is very present. Matter of fact, he's at home teaching the kids because everybody was out at home. Um, so, I think making sure that us as a community include fathers in the process, and then in the medical community, making sure they include the father in the process as well, and not just assume that they're not there because, they're of a different race.
What I've also learned, yeah, hey, he can give himself a hand clap. I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Go
Quick
ahead,
clap
Paul.
for my man.
What I've learned, not just from here, from what you're talking, but also Paul was always telling me is about knowing what you need to know, right? You can't advocate without knowing or learning more information about what you're going through. Um,
Mhm.
how can mothers or expected mothers know or find out what that information is? Obviously, a doula can play a role, but also even
Mhm.
before that, in terms of just advocating for themselves, um, finding out information. I think you gave that information out. That's one question. And two, just want to, you had any numbers on why this is important in terms of Black maternal health, but it's important overall with maternal health, but specifically, and I think that's been the theme of what you've been talking about.
So I think it's important because historically, Black and Brown women have not been listened to when they go to providers, right? I can say, like my story I shared, listen, I know I'm in labor. And what did they do? They sent me home, right? So being able to really advocate for yourself. So again, if you can find yourself a support group, I know there's a ton of support groups throughout here. I know Calming Nature has a support group for breastfeeding. I believe, and I know they changed the name, and um, I don't want the people to come for me, but I think it's the Durham Baby Stress Free Zone. They also have a support group as well for new moms. So if you're even thinking about, you know, having a baby at some point, talk to your doctor. Say, hey, listen, what can I do to prepare? Now, I can tell you as a mom of three, there's not enough preparation in the world, but the more knowledge you have, the better. Babies will throw a whole monkey wrench into everything, but it is the hardest, most rewarding job I've ever had in my life is to be a mom. But do some research, talk to your mom friends. You'd be surprised how many people will just be happy to talk to you about being a mom. I mean, I remember somebody asked me in the grocery store. We were in the middle of Wegmans, and we just talked about what it was, what we wish we knew. But do your research. I did have some resources I can provide some more also if you want to attach it to the recording. But do that. Talk to your family, talk to your partner about what you want. What is your idea of parenthood look like? I think that also plays a role too, because having your idea of parenthood and your partner's idea of parenthood may look totally different. And then now you guys are bringing the child together. Um, talk talk to them about what parenthood, how you want to parent your children together. But again, making sure that you are advocating for yourself. Get somebody that's going to be in the room with you and advocate for you too. If you can't, again, I can't stress enough having a doula, sharing what your wishes are with them so they can advocate for you as well. Sharing those wishes also with your partner. So just in case, because labor can be fast, if the doula can't get there fast enough, making sure your partner knows that as well, and really just if something doesn't feel right, just please say something. I always that see something, say something is so true across many aspects of life. But again, if it doesn't feel right, please say something. We can't fix it if people are keeping their mouth shut about what's going on. I know there's a lot of advocacy going around maternal health, and yes, we are making some strides. They're slow, they're small, but they are making a difference. Throughout our community. So keep saying something. Please make sure you say something, and especially if it doesn't feel right to you. If you see something with going on with your partner and it doesn't feel right, please speak up.
Well, listen, let me say, Alicia, thank you very much for the sharing and talking about this important topic. It's timely, it's needed. I think whenever you're able to put attention, put a little skill and information about something, it benefits not only the people we're talking to, but the community at whole. So thank you for your advocacy, for you being the person that you are. Thank you for being open and honest. It takes a lot of courage, but also looking at the bigger picture and sharing that information with us. We do appreciate that. Listen, I am, I'm somebody's son, and so I watched my mother, raise 3 children all by herself living in New York City. And I was gonna say I was around for the birth, but I really wasn't around for the birth, you know. So I can't imagine, you know. And so thank you again very much, and really, really appreciate that. What I'm going to do now, and no, let me say this: thank you for being a great moms too, right? You know, and I'm going to pass it off from one great mom to another great mother that I know. She's also the president of the Border Block Clubs. Not only because I see how she has raised her children, but the mothering style that she has with each and every one of us. I'm going to pass this over to Debbie Lombardo. Debbie, I think I've given you a whole 10 minutes here now. You know,
Yeah, look at that.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, well, good afternoon, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. I learned a great deal, and I thank you for that. You know, this was really enlightening, so thank you for taking that time to do that. Basically, Border Block Clubs, we're rocking it. This month we are meeting at Tosh Collins, like Nicole said, and she posted the flyer. It's on all of our social media platforms. We're looking forward. A lot of people were asking to learn more about gardens. So we have grassroots gardens coming. So that's going to be really interesting. And maybe a surprise, we'll see. We're working on a couple things. But what's mostly important is if you are interested in starting a block club, please reach out to us. In the past month, we have formed 4 new block clubs. So we're really doing great with getting people to wanting to stabilize their neighborhoods. So if you know anybody out there that wants to start a block club, our information is in the chat. You can always reach out to the Division of Citizen Services or 311 and they'll point you in the right direction. And we'd be more than happy to come out and talk to your group and, you know, see how we can get you started. I can tell you that May is Block Club month. And so at our May meeting, we'll have a few surprises for our block clubs that attend. And moving forward, we're just really working hard to do what we can to stabilize our neighborhoods and help our residents. Clean sweeps are going to be starting. Woo woo! It's my favorite time of year, and we really actually connect with a lot of neighbors thanks to the Division of Citizen Services and Mayor Byron Brown. It's a wonderful program, and we're really excited. Also, National Night Out. Yes, the second part of my wonderful, you know, events for the summer is National Night Out, and that is always the second Tuesday in August. And we are working very hard with Director Mestre and Division of Citizen Services. So more information will be coming out on our pre-event, pre-party, woo woo, in the square. So look forward to that. Otherwise, that's all that I have for today. I appreciate the time given on this Block Chat to talk about Block Clubs and what's happening in our community. So if you see us out on the clean sweeps, please stop and say hello. Let us know that you heard about it from the Block Chat. And Oz, look at this, 12:53, and I'm giving it back to you. Yeah.
Hey, Debbie, thank you very much. You know,
You're
May is
welcome.
such a beautiful month. It's like the best month out of
Yep.
the year. I'm just letting you know that. It's like, especially that first week in May, it is a beautiful time.
It
You know,
is. It's Mother's Day too.
I know.
So, you know, we
Another,
have to shout out to all our wonderful mothers out there.
it is another personal holiday for myself. So May is
Oh yeah,
such a
I know what that is.
um,
Birthday. Hey, listen, this month, the clean sweep is the day before mine, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be
that's what
fun.
we're talking about.
We're Taurus.
Listen, hey, thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you. I know you put a lot of footwork into this particular pod chat because it's timely and important. Thank you to Alexcia and to everyone here. We'll see you at our next blog chat. Listen, little overcast, but it's nice, beautiful weather out here. You know, stay safe for this. For I was gonna say this winter, this weekend. Have fun. You know, and those who it is bulk trash, make sure you put your trash out on Sunday. Take care.
Oh,
Talk to you later.
don't forget to clean your neighborhoods. Take care,
Yes,
everybody.
Great American Cleanup.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye.